Today we are going to be talking about the merge node inside of Mash. It's a pretty interesting node which allows you to merge two different Mash operations into one. So let's quickly get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my torus and I'm going to increase the radius of this, and let's maybe increase the subdivision to 60. And from here what we can do is we can take another primitive that is going to be our mash operation, and let's maybe decrease the height to maybe like 1.4, and let's maybe change the radius to 0.6. all right, and from here I'm going to go to mash and let's quickly mash this. In the attribute, in the distribute, select the distribution type to mesh and just middle mouse click on your torus and give it the input mesh. And instead of using the method scatter, we are going to use this vertex, and we can just simply flood this mesh to create this interesting and beautiful looking torus. And I can select my cone actually and just reduce the size of this. So I'm gonna just click on my cone and just change maybe like the 0.4 and height to 0.1. And I think we need to decrease the subdivision of our torus, and let's increase this and decrease this. Yeah, all right, so I think now we have a better looking mash operation. So we can actually hide our torus, we don't need to actually see it anymore. So we have something that looks like this, and from here we have this single mash operation. And let's create another one and let's see how we can merge it. So let's create a simple sphere. All right, and I can go to mash, create another mash, and let's maybe create a grid of it. All right, and I'm gonna increase this to 3 and 3, and let's change this, and I wanna change the scale of this to maybe something like this. Yeah, to maybe lower. And what we want to do here is, since we want to merge our operation 1 and 2 together, what we have to do is understand how many points we are going to be required to merge both of them. So if we go to mash number 1 and if we understand how many cones we have, if we go to the mash property in the weighter, we'll see the amount of distribution we have is 550. So what we have to do here in the distribute is we have to make it same number as our cones to perfectly fit this, because it will just fit as many as it can and the other parts will be completely left out. So either what you can do is you can create a linear and you can give it a 550, or you can do the same in the grid. And let's say we want to merge this entire thing into one, so I'm gonna just zero this out. So we have 550 points inside of our one sphere, and what we can do is we can take a very nice curve and we can create some nice looking curve thing here. I'm gonna right click, control vertex, and I'm just gonna give it some kind of smooth looking transition in our curve. And maybe let's okay, so I think it looks quite good and we are good to go. So we have something that looks like this, and what we can do is in our mash 2, let's make some things easier. So we have this mash, all right, and what we want to do is let's name this as cone, and let's name this as spheres. All right, looks pretty good. And in our spheres we can go to spheres and we can take our curve node, and in the curve node we can put in our curve. So now we have control over this, and we'll have a very nice looking animation to how our entire spheres are coming towards our cone. So we can animate that. So let's quickly animate this, and what we can do from here is I'm gonna quickly click on my step, right click and set key, and I'm gonna take maybe like 50 seconds, and yeah, it automatically animate. But if you want to just change into a 30 frames, we can do that, and we can use that to pretty much make the entire animation into one. So we'll have something like this. Okay, so you'll notice that our animation is going from, I'm gonna remove the animation, let's break connection, and we have this to about around 54 frames. All right, and from 54 frames, what we want to do is we want to clone all these spheres on top of this cone. So you can go to our sphere and we can take our merge node. Let's add our merge node, and in the merge node you'll notice that we have the child node which is completely empty. All you have to do is middle mouse click on your cone and drop it onto your child node, and that's it. So you'll notice that nothing actually happens. Even if I play this, you'll notice that nothing actually happens, and the reason is because the strength value has been set to 1. So if I decrease this, you'll start to notice that your spheres starts to clone on top of those cone. All right, and if I just increase the radius of my spheres, you'll notice that you get something that looks like this. And let's quickly animate this. So I'm going to go to my sphere, I'm going to change the strength to 0 just so we can see in real time, and I'm going to just give it a very different looking material and color, and just so it's a bit easier for us to understand how both of these objects are merging. And let me just okay, now if I go to my spheres and change this, you'll notice that it clones on top of those cones. And the interesting part here is if I change my random strength, you'll notice that it randomizes the entire thing of how the merging is actually happening. And you can also change the step amount to give it that one by one step at a time look. And from here what we can do is from the point 40, what we can do is we can start merging, or let's take 45. So I can right click on my strength, set key, right click on my random strength, set key, and around 55, or yeah, let's take 55, we can reduce the strength to 0 and set key. I'm not going to change the random strength right away. I'm just going to see how this is looking first. So let's go to first frame, let's play this. So it's going to come down and it's going to start merging into this. Yeah. And from here again, what I can do is I'm going to choose random strength to 0. All right, so it slowly comes down and we'll have this. All right, so we have something that looks like this. All right, so it's a pretty nice thing which gives this very nice looking merging operation. You can also do one thing. If you want to hide the other mesh as well, you can just simply hide those and you'll have that looks like this. Even having this, what you can do is if you have this cones and if you create something else with it, let's say if I just give something else, and there you go. So we'll have something that looks like this. Okay, and let's say if you don't want to use this on top of your spheres, if you go to our cone and let's say if we add our animation to our cone as well, you'll have something that looks like this. Let me just reduce, and there you go. So this is what we have with our merge. So it pretty much combines two different mesh operations into one. So it's a pretty interesting node. There's a lot we can do with it. Pretty interesting looking node, and if it really helps if you want to create two animation that blends together to create one. So I hope this was helpful, and you can find a way to create something interesting into motion graphics with it. So feel free to dive and play around with it. If you have any question regarding the merge node, just feel free to ask me. All you have to do is, if you have two mesh operations, all you have to do is select the one that should be merged with the other one. So in my case, I've chosen spheres to merge with my cones. So just take a merge node. If you still can't understand which merge to choose, you can keep experimenting, or if you choose merge, you can simply, if it goes wrong, you can simply delete the entire operation. You can go back to your cone and you can take merge operation in your other mesh as well. So we have cone, and you can choose a merge operation here as well, and you can just type feed in your spheres. So vice versa, either way you'll get the animation done. So I hope this helps. So enjoy your merge node, and I'll see you in the next video.